Last night on Sunday night, we met 24-year-old Dan Haslam. He has terminal cancer, and the only thing that eases the pain of his chemo is cannabis.
So now his mum, who's a nurse, and his dad, who's a retired drug squad detective, are leading the push to have medical marijuana legalised. Dan Haslam has cancer of the bowel, of the liver, of the lungs. His regular chemotherapy leaves him sick, nauseous and unable to eat.
He wouldn't eat for 5 days. He would lose weight. His condition would just fall away. This is no good for a cancer patient.
Having tried everything, the only thing that eases the symptoms is marijuana.
He has his pump on the Wednesday. He comes out from the clinic and he goes and has a smoke and he has something to eat.
Unfortunately for Dan and thousands of cancer patients like him, marijuana is illegal. Mum Lucy is a former nurse and his dad is an ex-drug squad detective. But for them, the choice to break the law was no choice at all.
If I were to reveal to you where we were, how and where we were obtaining the oil, then there would be a chance that it would stop.
Made to feel like criminals, the family continues to do whatever it takes to ease Dan's suffering and give him the one thing he needs.
Hope is so important when you've been given a title of terminal, which up until now we've never used that term. When you're given that, you need hope, you need...
It leaves the family asking one very simple question.
Dan could be being looked after and nurtured by his health system instead of being made a criminal. Why are we put in this position?
Dan Haslam and his mum Lucy join us now in the studio. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
A very powerful story last night. What sort of reaction have you had?
Oh, Facebook's just gone off like wildfire, and the petition on change.org has just, gone up 15,000 last night just since the show aired. So we're now over 67,000 votes on the petition, which needs to keep coming.
Sunday night's poll showed a vote of 96% in favour and 4 against, and that pretty much reflects all the polls that the Telegraph have done, our local papers done.
Sunday Telly.
Yeah.
There does seem to be a bit of a softening from our politicians, doesn't there?
Do you think so?
No, I'm asking. They were very hard line.
Yeah.
Not so much now. Do you think the momentum is changing, that you're going to get your wish?
Koshi, I hope so. We tried writing letters to politicians and that got us nowhere. And that sort of led us to this point where I think they almost have to be shamed into doing something for people just like Dan, and there's thousands of people like Dan. It's not just about Dan now.
That is so frustrating, isn't it? Because the thing that moves them is that 60 votes, does it? 67,000. Otherwise, they just ignore you.
That's right. And the number of times they've given us misinformation. Senior ministers have told me to do things, as if it's a matter of fact that, yes, you can go and get a letter from your doctor to exempt him, and, And it's wrong,
Right, wrong.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Dan, if you could speak directly to the Health Minister, the bureaucrats of this country and the Health Minister, what would you say?
Just to give people a chance. It's been proven that it can kill cancer, and I'm going to give myself the best possible chance.
Yeah.
And it's funny, in the court of law, anecdotal evidence is the strongest, like first person witness account. Coming into the medical realm, anecdotal means nothing. It's almost the weakest sort of evidence. But anecdotal works for me because I'm running out of options and I need some hope, and this is a chance for me, so I'll do it.
Only thing for pain relief for you, isn't it?
Yeah, and the nausea symptoms, there's other prescription drugs that can manage it, but not nearly as effective.
And Lucy, the thing to remember, it's not just Dan.
That's right.
There are a whole lot of Australians in Dan's position who don't speak out, who have just been fobbed off, and the politicians go on their merry way. Oh, too hard, sorry, goodbye.
Yeah, and look, if I could say one thing today, it would be to encourage everybody that's written to me, personal emails, and anyone that signed the petition because of their own personal story, make that story known to your local MP. It's the only way people are going to listen. If you've had benefit from using cannabis and you've been too scared to come out and say it, do so now. The time's right, you know.
Yep.
The police, you know, there's something wrong when police are reluctant to enforce a law, and that's what we're seeing, you know. So the people aren't wrong, the law's wrong.
Yep.
And
it's the health ministers that will change it, state and federal.
Yeah, and sadly, they don't seem to have the education. They're basing all their judgment on old-fashioned taboos about marijuana.
Yep.
They're looking at this like we're talking about blanket legalisation. We are not. We are talking about people with terminal and chronic long-term disease,
Yep.
people that it's a last resort for. You know, people aren't going to be worried about long-term health effects if this is their last resort.
They're just so sensible. Such a sensible decision.
Good
All
on
right.
you.
Keep us up to date. We'll follow it up as well.
For sure.
And get on to the health ministers today.
Yeah.
Keep fighting the good fight.
And if anyone wants to get online, it's just got to go to change.org and make your vote count.
We will have a link on our website as well to
great.
go
Thanks,
through.
Koshi.
Thanks
all
for
the
coming.
best.
Thanks, Sam.
Good
Good luck, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
7 News headlines are next.
This is Sunrise on 7.